In string theory, all particles are vibration on a tiny rubber band. Physics is the harmonies on the string. Chemistry is the melodies we play on vibrating strings. The universe is a symphony of strings, and the mind of God is cosmic music resonating in 11-dimensional hyperspace. The most complex object in the known universe, brain, only uses 20 watts of power. It would require a nuclear power plant to energize a computer the size of a city blocks to mimic your brain, and your brain does it with just 20 watts. So if someone calls you a dim bulb, that's a compliment. All kids are born geniuses, but are crushed by society. What is the universe? The universe is the symphony of vibrating strings. We're nothing but melodies. We're nothing but cosmic music played out on vibrating strings and membranes. The human brain has 100 billion neurons. Each neuron connects to 10,000 other neurons. Sitting on your shoulder is the most complicated object in the known universe. Impossible is relative. In the beginning, God said, the four-dimensional divergence of an anti-symmetric second-rank tensor equals 0, and there was light, and it was good. And on the seventh day, he rested. It's pointless to have a nice, clean desk, because it means you're not doing anything. Srivastava Ramanujan was the strangest man in all of mathematics, probably in the entire history of science. He has been compared to a bursting supernova, illuminating the darkest, most profound corners of mathematics, before being tragically struck down by tuberculosis at the age of 33. Like Ryan before him, working in total isolation from the main currents of his field, he is able to redrive 100 years worth of Western mathematics on his own. The tragedy of his life that much of his work was wasted rediscovering known mathematics. Beyond work and love, I would add two other ingredients that give meaning to life. First, to fulfill whatever talents we are born with. However blessed we are by fate with different abilities and traits, we should try to develop them to the fullest rather than allow them to atrophy and decay. Second, we should try to leave the world a better place than we entered it. Music is the voice of God traveling through 10-dimensional hyperspace. I began to realize something. To understand the future, you have to understand physics. Physics of the last century gave us television, radio, microwaves gave us the internet, lasers, transistors, computers, all that from physics. You know, when I look at the night sky and I see this enormous splendor of stars and galaxies, I sometimes ask the question, well, how many worlds are we talking about? Well, do the math. There are about 100 billion galaxies that are in the visible universe, and each galaxy in turn contains about 100 billion stars. You multiply and you get about 10 billion trillion stars. Well, I think it is the height of arrogance to believe that we are alone in the universe. My attitude is that the universe is teeming with different kinds of life forms. If you could meet your grandkids as elderly systems in the year 2100, you would view them as being basically Greek gods. That's where we're headed. Wormholes were first introduced to the public over a century ago in a book written by an Oxford mathematician. Perhaps realizing that adults might frown on the idea of multiply connected spaces, he wrote the book under a pseudonym and wrote it for children. His name was Charles Dodson. His pseudonym was Lewis Carroll, and the book was Through the Looking Glass. Math is discovered. To be invented requires an inventor, but math exists outside of humanity. But ultimately, the laws of the universe will be reduced down to a single equation, perhaps no more than 1 inch long. But leave the final question, where did that 1 inch equation come from? We have the media, which is such a waste in the sense that you can actually feel your IQ get lower as you watch TV. Some advice: keep the flames of curiosity and wonderment alive, even when studying for boring exams. This is the well from which we scientists draw our nourishment and energy, and also learn the math. Math is a language of nature, so we have to learn this language. Why do oil company executives, vampires, and NASA bureaucrats all have in common? They fear solar energy. Common sense has no place in quantum mechanics. Did God have a mother? Children, when told that God made the heavens and the earth, innocently asked whether God had a mother. This deceptively simple question has stumped the elders of the church and embarrassed the finest theologians, participating in some of the thorniest theological debates over the centuries. All the great religions have elaborated mythologies surrounding the divine act of creation, but none of them adequately confronts the logical paradoxes inherent in the question that even children ask. Physicists are made of atoms. A physicist is an attempt by an atom to understand itself. I believe we exist in a multiverse of universes. The law of physics, carefully constructed after thousands of experimentation, are nothing but the laws of harmony one can write down for strings and membranes. The law of chemistry are the melodies that one can play on these strings. The universe is a symphony of strings, and the mind of God, which Einstein wrote eloquently about, is cosmic music resonating throughout hyperspace.